Welcome to Concrete Block, the podcast where we dive into the latest news and current events shaping our world. I'm your host, Walter. Today we're going to explore the complex and ever-evolving situation in the Middle East, specifically the ongoing conflict between the United States and Iran. As we've been following the developments, it's become clear that this is not just a straightforward battle of wills between two nations, but a multifaceted geopolitical struggle involving various global powers. Russia and China are watching closely, with their own interests at stake in the region. The Iranians, for their part, seem determined to resist American pressure, while also navigating their relationships with these other major players. The U.S. war on Iran has raised important questions about the legitimacy of American alliances and the role of the United States as a leader in a rules-based international order. If Washington can launch wars without clear justification or evidence of an imminent threat, it undermines its ability to criticize similar actions by Russia or China. This is a delicate balancing act with far-reaching implications for global stability. One possible outcome that could emerge from this situation is a low-grade, simmering conflict that continues to drain American resources and attention. This would likely be the preferred scenario for Moscow and Beijing, as it would keep the U.S. mired in the Gulf and distracted from their own neighborhoods. The Iranian government might also see this as a viable path forward, allowing them to extract economic concessions from the U.S. while maintaining their independence. So, what's the right strategy for the United States in this complex web of alliances and rivalries? Should Washington aim for a maximalist approach, seeking to humiliate Iran or collapse the Islamic Republic? Or should it opt for a more nuanced, diplomatic approach, seeking a mutually beneficial modus vivendi with Tehran? We'll be exploring these questions and more in today's episode of Concrete Block. We'll examine the potential benefits and drawbacks of different approaches, from establishing a U.S.-led consortium for uranium enrichment to negotiating a non-aggression pact with Iran. Our goal is to provide a balanced and informed discussion, free from bias or ideology. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're diving into the complex and ever-evolving situation in the Middle East. Tensions between Iran, the U.S., and Israel continue to escalate, with a fragile ceasefire hanging in the balance. The conflict has already resulted in thousands of deaths across the region, primarily in Iran and Lebanon. In recent developments, Iranian state television reported that the country's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard had seized 2 ships in the Strait of Hormuz after 3 vessels were attacked on Wednesday. This move has effectively closed off the critical waterway, which previously carried a fifth of the world's oil trade. The U.S. military has been intercepting and redirecting Iranian-flagged tankers in Asian waters as part of its blockade against Iran. Meanwhile, in Lebanon, Israeli airstrikes have killed at least 5 people, including Lebanese journalist Amal Khalin, marking the deadliest day since a 10-day ceasefire was announced on April 16th. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun has stated that Beirut will seek an extension to the ceasefire, which is set to expire on Sunday. As the situation continues to unfold, it's clear that finding a peaceful resolution will require careful diplomacy and cooperation from all parties involved. The international community remains vigilant, with many calling for a lifting of sanctions, reparations for damage, and recognition of Iran's control over the Strait of Hormuz. We'll continue to monitor the developments in this story and provide updates as more information becomes available. For now, it's essential to acknowledge the complexity of the issue and the need for a balanced approach to finding a solution. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're wrapping up today's show with a look at the latest developments in U.S. politics. 2 major stories have been making headlines: a new budget plan passed by Senate Republicans and a recent poll on American opinions regarding ICE funding and immigration. According to reports, Senate Republicans narrowly passed a budget resolution that could potentially end the shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security and provide funding for immigration and customs enforcement and border patrol. The measure was adopted with a 50-48 vote, with some Republican senators joining Democrats in opposition. This budget reconciliation process would allow Republicans to pass the measure through a simple majority, bypassing the Democratic filibuster. On another front, a recent poll suggests that Americans are divided on issues related to immigration and ICE funding. While some support increased funding for border security, others are concerned about the impact of such measures on immigrant communities. The debate highlights the complexities and challenges surrounding U.S. immigration policy. It's essential to consider multiple perspectives when evaluating these issues. On one hand, proponents of increased ICE funding argue that it's necessary for national security and enforcing immigration laws. On the other hand, critics express concerns about the potential consequences for human rights, social justice, and community relationships. As we conclude today's concrete block, we encourage listeners to engage with these topics thoughtfully and critically. It's crucial to stay informed about the ongoing discussions and debates shaping our world. By doing so, we can foster a more nuanced understanding of the complexities at play and work towards finding common ground. That's all for today's concrete block. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay informed.